help you open your hearts, open yourselves, your marriage, your relationship to God. And this morning we have already seen why many relationships do not last. Because when the foundation is not strong, when the heat of life, things, unforeseen circumstances hit, which definitely will, many do not stand. Many relationships do not stand because their foundation is very weak. So that is what we looked at in the morning. But here this morning, as well as we take this Mass, we are being presented with something that looks so interesting. Water flowing from the altar of God. I mean, it's not something that is easily conceived in our human mind. If you want to see a flowing water, you go to the river, right? So none of you can even imagine what happened. The altar, the sanctuary. So the sanctuary, as we read in the first reading today, is the altar of God. And that is where in the church we have the altar most elevated. And this is the place where God lives. This is the place where God dwells. So the prophet, God opened his eyes and he saw something that cannot be easily conceived in the human eyes. Water flowing from the sanctuary of God. And the good part of it says that wherever this water goes, there is life. Things begin to live. This water, whatever this water that flows from the sanctuary, whatever it touches, even dry leaves will begin to live. And even the water that flows from the sanctuary, it will empty itself into a river that dead fish will begin to live. And that is where, dear brothers and sisters, is becoming very interesting to help you understand these dynamics, this part of your, if we do everything and we never allow you the opportunity to present yourselves before the altar, because even as we celebrate this Mass, the grace that flows from this altar goes into you. This is where the Lord brings to you what you cannot bring to yourself. This is where the Lord brings things that may be dead in you so that they may be alive again. And that is what the Lord brings to the table. And most times people don't even consider this. So we understand that your preparation will be incomplete until we bring you to the altar of God. God himself is the one that gives you what you cannot give to yourself. And he allowed the grace that flows from this Mass to touch you. Because this is a new beginning for all of you. It doesn't matter how you met. It doesn't matter how long you have been together. This is a new beginning. Because what brings freshness, what brings life is God. And that is what the grace that flows from the altar of God today. And not only today that you do this preparation. We encourage you, always draw closer to the altar of God as a couple. Because this is where grace upon grace that God himself, as a symbol of water, always flow into you, into your relationship, into your future. None of you knows what the future holds. I do not. But there is a God that knows the end from the beginning. Even before things happen, God knows them before they do happen. So when we come to him who knows the future, because God himself is the author of the future. He knows what your relationship will look like in the next 10 years. Even in the first year of your marriage, the Lord knows. So it's an opportunity for you to recognize that to cut off from God, you are doing yourself as a couple a disservice. But to draw closer to God is the best you can do for yourself. So we live in a society that talks about, what we are looking for ourselves. We wish ourselves. Let me tell you the truth, guys. Life does not depend on good wishes. We want to have a good marriage. I don't think there's any of you here who does not want to have a good marriage. That is wishes, right? Human wishes. unless God puts his blessing on your wishes, it's not going to work. All the failed marriages, I don't think there's anybody who wanted to invest in marriage, a long-term relationship, thinking that I know that this relationship is going to fail, and if it fails, I will be happy. No. Everybody come into a relationship with a good wishes. And I tell you, like the gospel reading today, a couple who were married in Cana in Galilee, they wish that they would have a wonderful time, a wedding. So in the Jewish culture, wedding is not something you joke around. You can't invite people if you are not ready for it. And one of the things that stands in the Jewish culture at the middle of wedding is wine. The most important part of the wedding in the Jewish culture is, do you have enough wine? And every couple will know that they have to make sure that they provide it. So this couple that we were presented today in the gospel reading, who we are getting married, they wish that they're going to have a good time. They provided enough. But suddenly, they ran out of wine. Suddenly. So in life, sometimes suddenly things happen. The unforeseen circumstances, things you did not even envision that will happen, eventually will happen. You know what made the difference today? They invited Jesus. That Jesus was in the room. Because in the Jewish culture, that could have ruined all their future. People would have laughed at them. People would have left the place confused. Everybody would be talking about it. Look at them. They invited everyone here. They don't even have enough wine. What are they thinking? That would have been the worst shame ever a new couple can deal with. But they invited Jesus. They didn't knew who Jesus was. But they invited him nevertheless. And Jesus was there quiet. And because they invited Mary, the mother of Jesus, as well. And when Mary discovered that things were about to go south, eventualities, right? Things unforeseen, Mary intervened. You know, Mary knew who to draw the attention. Mary did not go to complain to other people. Mary knew whom to go to, and that was Jesus. And thank God that Jesus was in the room that day. Probably Jesus had no money to give them, but they invited him. And not everyone in our society today will think about Jesus when we do things, right? We do not. Rather, we are thinking about who am I going to invite from the White House? Which senator, who among all my friends? There's nothing wrong with who you invite. But the problem is whom you did not invite. Because other people will not save you when things get to a point that only God can. And you see how Mary discovered what was about to happen. And Mary knew whom to go to. And Jesus today had to intervene. And the water that became wine became the best. So when you have Jesus in your marriage, in your relationship, always, your marriage is going to get fresher and fresher every day. No matter how old you become even more fresher. I've seen a couples who were married only 1 year, they look so old, so dried. Nothing is, everything, they lack joy, they lack enthusiasm, they lack excitement, they lack everything. They already struggle in the first 2 years of married life. They feel drained. And you see couples who have married for 45 years. They look even more younger, more engaged with each other, more in love with each other than those who are just married. It's the irony of life. And the question there, when you ask many of them, they always invite Jesus and Mary to walk with them. Because when you have God in your marriage, in your life, things will always get more better. The best will come, even the more you walk into the path of marriage, your marriage become more interesting than even the time you were even dating. A lot of married couples, the best time ever they experienced in their relationship was when they were dating. So as soon as they say, I do, things get worse. It's not because that's what they wanted, right? They had a good intention to have a good married life, but they never had the right person in their relationship. I think this is something that we encourage each and every one of you. It's up to you. Remember what Jesus told us this morning: wise couples and foolish couples. When you do not have God as the base of this relationship, and you think you're going to do it your own way, you think that you know what your relationship needs more than God does, well, good luck. But if I have to advise you, have the right person. Do not disconnect yourself from God. Because we live in a society today that say, well, nobody is going to save you. Save yourself. No, let me tell you, you cannot save yourself. You're going to do whatever you needed to do. But there are things that only God can do. And when you have God by your side as a couple, then the future is brighter. When you do not have God, no matter the amount of money you have, we talk about security, right? Financial security, this one security. And you talk about a security, true security without God. A lot of people today are billionaires, but their marriage shattered because they relied only on money. They relied on themselves. I'm not saying that you should not do what you need to do. Do what you need to do, but never put God at the back seat. Never see God as an option. Never think that you don't need God. Because society says today, what? I make all my money. I pay all my bills. God does nothing for me. Go and check them. Majority of them are not happy. They have fun. They go to the best vacation, but they feel still broken. There is something missing. So as Jesus today is present in the marriage in Cana, he wants to be present in your own wedding, in your own married life, not only on your wedding day. Jesus wants to walk side by side with you as a couple. And only if you can allow him that privilege. It's not just a privilege, it's an opportunity. It's a privilege even to you to have Jesus walk with you as a couple. By the kind of choices you make. By who becomes the priority. That you do not just consider Jesus as an option. Probably we go to him when we need something. Rather, Jesus wants you to be happy, and he wants to make you the best couple ever. That people will look up to you and say, look at them, look at how they love. They are even more fresher, even in their old age. You want to be, fresh throughout your married life, not just when you are dating. So I encourage you, never put Jesus at the back seat. Never take this journey without Jesus. Because remember, it does not take only good wishes for marriage to survive. It takes only grace, and only God can give you what it takes to have a good marriage.